Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly attract success, wealth, and happiness while others struggle despite working just as hard? The answer isn't luck, privilege, or circumstance. It's something far more profound, something that lives within you right now, waiting to be awakened. Today, we're diving deep into timeless wisdom that will transform not just how you think, but how you live, breathe, and create your reality. This isn't just another self-help message. This is the blueprint for unlocking prosperity in every dimension of your existence. James Allen understood something that most people spend their entire lives never discovering. He recognized that the outer world you experience is nothing more than a reflection, a mirror image of your inner world. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your mental habits, they're not just abstract concepts floating around in your head. They're the architects of your destiny, the invisible hands shaping every circumstance, every relationship, every dollar that flows into or out of your life. When you grasp this truth, really grasp it at a cellular level, everything changes. The victim mentality dissolves, excuses evaporate, and suddenly you realize you've been holding the keys to your kingdom all along. Let me share something with you that might shake the very foundation of how you see your life. Right now, in this very moment, you are exactly where your thoughts have brought you. Every single condition in your life, from your bank account to your relationships, from your health to your career, has been constructed brick by the thoughts you've entertained, nurtured, and allowed to dominate your consciousness. This isn't about blame or guilt. This is about power. Because if your thoughts created your current reality, then by changing your thoughts, you can create an entirely new reality. You're not a victim of circumstance. You're a creator of circumstance. You're not subject to random forces beyond your control. You are the force, the power, the creative intelligence behind everything you experience. The concept of prosperity extends far beyond mere financial wealth, though certainly financial abundance is part of the equation. True prosperity encompasses health that radiates from every cell of your body, relationships that nourish your soul and elevate your spirit, work that feels less like labor and more like purposeful expression, peace of mind that remains unshaken regardless of external turbulence, and a deep, abiding sense of fulfillment that money could never buy. When you align your thoughts with the principles of prosperity, when you cultivate the right mental attitudes and emotional states, all these forms of abundance begin flowing toward you with an ease that will astound you. It's not magic, though it might feel magical. It's law, universal law, as reliable and predictable as gravity. Consider for a moment the farmer who plants seeds in his field. He doesn't plant corn seeds and expect to harvest wheat. He doesn't plant weeds and hope for flowers. He understands the law of cause and effect, the principle of sowing and reaping. Yet when it comes to the garden of the mind, most people violate this law constantly. They plant seeds of doubt, water them with fear, fertilize them with negative expectations, and then wonder why their harvest is so bitter. They fill their minds with thoughts of lack, limitation, and impossibility, then feel confused when poverty, restriction, and failure show up at their doorstep. The universe doesn't play favorites. It doesn't judge your thoughts as good or bad. It simply responds to them, multiplies them, and returns them to you as experiences. Plant prosperity consciousness, and prosperity must come. This is law. Your mind is the most powerful tool you will ever possess, yet most people use it as carelessly as a child wielding a sharp knife. They allow any random thought to take root, any fear-based belief to flourish, any limiting conviction to dominate their mental landscape. Then they blame external circumstances, other people, the economy, their upbringing, anything but the real culprit, their own undisciplined thinking. But here's the beautiful truth that should fill you with hope and excitement. The moment you take responsibility for your thinking, the moment you become the guardian of your mental garden rather than an unconscious bystander, you claim your power as a creator. You step into your role as the architect of your destiny. And from that moment forward, everything begins to shift. Prosperity consciousness isn't about pretending you're rich when you're broke. It's not about denying problems or living in fantasy. It's about understanding the creative power of thought and deliberately choosing thoughts that align with the life you desire to create. It's about recognizing that your current circumstances, no matter how challenging, are temporary and changeable. It's about knowing, not just believing but knowing at the deepest level, that you are designed for abundance, wired for success, and destined for greatness when you align yourself with the right principles. This knowing isn't arrogance. It's awakening. It's the recognition of your true nature as a creative being with unlimited potential. Let me tell you a story that illustrates this principle beautifully. There was once a man who worked in a factory, earning barely enough to support his family. Every day, he would complain about his boss, his wages, his circumstances. He felt trapped, victimized by a system he believed was designed to keep him down. His thoughts were dominated by resentment, frustration, and hopelessness. And predictably, his situation never improved. In fact, it worsened. He was eventually laid off, confirming his belief that life was unfair and he was powerless. But here's where the story takes an interesting turn. While unemployed, he happened upon a book much like the wisdom we're exploring today. And something in that book struck a chord deep within him. He began to understand that his thoughts had been his prison, and changing those thoughts could be his liberation. He started a new practice. Every morning, before his feet hit the floor, he would spend 15 minutes filling his mind with thoughts of gratitude, possibility, and abundance. He visualized himself in fulfilling work, earning more than enough, making a positive contribution. He replaced his habitual complaints with statements of appreciation for what he did have. He stopped gossiping about former employers and started speaking words of encouragement and possibility. At first, nothing changed externally, but internally, everything was shifting. His energy changed. His demeanor changed. The way he carried himself changed. And then, as if by magic, though we know it wasn't magic at all, opportunities began appearing. A former colleague called with a job lead. A neighbor mentioned a new company hiring. Within 3 months, he was employed in a position that paid nearly double his previous salary. Within a year, he had been promoted. Within 5 years, he had started his own successful business. Was this luck? Was this coincidence? Absolutely not. This was the law of prosperity consciousness in action. When he changed his thinking, he changed his vibration, his energy, his presence. And that new energy attracted new opportunities, new people, new circumstances that matched his elevated consciousness. The external world had no choice but to reorganize itself to reflect his internal transformation. This is how it works for everyone, without exception. You cannot maintain prosperity consciousness and remain in poverty. You cannot consistently think thoughts of abundance and remain in lack. It's impossible, because your outer world must eventually conform to your inner world. This is law. Now, let's go deeper into what prosperity consciousness actually looks like in practical, daily terms. It begins with gratitude, genuine heartfelt appreciation for what you already have. This might seem counterintuitive if you're in a difficult situation, but gratitude is the foundation upon which all prosperity is built. Why? Because gratitude puts you in harmony with the source of all supply. When you appreciate what you have, you're acknowledging abundance rather than lack. You're vibrating at the frequency of having rather than wanting. And the universe responds to your vibration, not your words. You can affirm abundance all day long, but if you're feeling resentful about your current circumstances, you're sending out the signal of lack, and more lack is what you'll receive. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's present, and in that shift, you open the channels for more good to flow into your life. Begin each day with gratitude. Before you check your phone, before you think about your problems, before you start rehearsing your worries, pause and identify at least 5 things you're genuinely grateful for. They don't have to be big things. The warmth of your bed, the fact that you woke up breathing, the roof over your head, the sunrise, the people you love, your ability to see, hear, walk, think. When you start recognizing the abundance that already surrounds you, your consciousness expands to allow even more abundance in. This isn't positive thinking for its own sake. This is aligning yourself with reality, because the truth is, if you're alive, you already have so much to be grateful for. Most of us have more comfort, convenience, and abundance than kings had just a few generations ago. Yet we take it all for granted and focus on what we lack. This focus on lack perpetuates more lack. Gratitude breaks that cycle. After gratitude comes vision. You must have a clear mental picture of the prosperous life you desire to create. Vague wishes and general hopes won't cut it. The universe responds to specificity. You need to know what prosperity looks like for you personally. What kind of work would fulfill you? What level of income would allow you to live comfortably and generously? What kind of relationships do you want to cultivate? What does vibrant health look like in your body? What experiences do you want to have? Create a detailed mental movie of your ideal life, and play that movie in your mind regularly. See yourself living in that reality. Feel the emotions you would feel. Hear the sounds, notice the details. Make it so real in your imagination that your subconscious mind begins to accept it as actual. Your subconscious doesn't distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and real ones, and it will go to work creating circumstances that match your mental images. But here's the critical part that many people miss. You cannot just visualize and then go about your day thinking contradictory thoughts. You cannot spend 5 minutes imagining prosperity and then spend the rest of your day dwelling on your problems, complaining about your lack, and expecting the worst. That's like planting a seed and then digging it up every hour to see if it's growing. Your vision must be supported by consistent, aligned thinking throughout your day. Every thought is either moving you toward your vision or away from it. There's no neutral. When you notice yourself thinking thoughts of lack, limitation, or impossibility, you must consciously redirect your mind back to thoughts of abundance, capability, and potential. This takes vigilance, especially in the beginning. Your old thought patterns have deep grooves worn into your consciousness, but with practice, prosperity thinking becomes your new default. Let's talk about the role of fear in blocking prosperity. Fear is perhaps the greatest obstacle to abundance because fear and prosperity cannot coexist in the same consciousness. Fear contracts, prosperity expands. Fear hoards, prosperity gives freely. Fear sees lack, prosperity sees abundance. Fear believes in limitation, prosperity knows infinite supply. When you're operating from fear, you make decisions designed to protect what little you have rather than decisions designed to create more. You pass up opportunities because you're afraid of failing. You stay in situations that don't serve you because you're afraid of the unknown. You keep yourself small because you're afraid of criticism, rejection, or success itself. Fear is insidious because it masquerades as wisdom, caution, and prudence. But true wisdom is not fear-based. True wisdom is faith-based. Faith, in this context, doesn't necessarily mean religious faith, though it can include that. Faith here means trust in the fundamental goodness and abundance of life. Faith means believing that you are supported by forces greater than yourself. Faith means knowing that when you take steps toward your highest good, the universe conspires to help you. Faith is the antidote to fear. When fear says, you might fail, faith says, and even if you do, you'll learn and grow and become stronger. When fear says, there's not enough, faith says, there's more than enough for everyone, including you. When fear says, play it safe, faith says, take the leap and trust you'll fly or learn to fly on the way down. Every great achievement, every breakthrough, every success story involves faith overcoming fear. You must cultivate faith if you want to experience true prosperity. How do you cultivate faith? Through practice and evidence. Start small. Take small steps that require a little faith, and when things work out, let that experience build your confidence. Take slightly bigger steps. Accumulate evidence that the universe is friendly, that opportunities do appear, that you are capable of more than you thought. Keep a success journal where you record every win, every synchronicity, every time things worked out better than expected. Review this journal regularly to remind yourself that you have reasons to have faith. Also, surround yourself with examples of people who have achieved what you desire to achieve. Read their stories, study their journeys, internalize the truth that if they could do it, so can you. You're not fundamentally different from successful people. They simply developed different thought patterns, different beliefs, different levels of faith. And what they developed, you can develop too. Another essential element of prosperity consciousness is the practice of giving. This might seem paradoxical if you're currently experiencing lack. You might think, how can I give when I barely have enough for myself? But this is precisely backward thinking. Giving is not something you do after you become prosperous. Giving is what makes you prosperous. When you give, you're declaring to the universe and to your own subconscious mind that you have abundance to share. You're operating from a consciousness of more than enough rather than barely enough. You're setting in motion the law of circulation, which states that whatever you send out returns to you multiplied. Money, energy, love, everything in the universe circulates. It must flow. When you dam up the flow by hoarding and refusing to give, you cut yourself off from receiving. When you keep the flow moving by giving freely, you ensure that more keeps flowing to you. Now, giving doesn't mean being foolish or giving beyond your means in a way that creates hardship. It means giving something, whatever you can, with a joyful heart. If you can't give money, give time. If you can't give time, give attention, kindness, encouragement, a smile. Give something every single day. Make it a practice. And when you do give money, give it freely, not begrudgingly. Don't give and then resent the giving or calculate what you might get in return. Give because it feels good to give. Give because you recognize yourself in others and want to help. Give because you're grateful for what you have. This kind of giving transforms your consciousness. It makes you feel wealthy regardless of your bank balance. And that feeling of wealth is what attracts more wealth. There's an old saying that it's better to give than to receive, but the truth is even deeper than that. Giving and receiving are two sides of the same coin. You cannot do one without the other. If you refuse to receive graciously when others offer you help, gifts, or opportunities, you're blocking the flow just as surely as if you refused to give. Some people are great givers but terrible receivers. They're uncomfortable accepting help or compliments or gifts. This discomfort reveals a prosperity block. To experience full abundance, you must be able to both give and receive with equal grace. When someone offers you something, say thank you and receive it. When someone compliments you, say thank you rather than deflecting. When opportunities come your way, say yes rather than talking yourself out of them. Open yourself to receiving all the good that life wants to give you. Let's address a common misconception about prosperity. Many people believe that desire for prosperity is somehow greedy or unspiritual. They've been taught that money is the root of all evil, that rich people are morally suspect, that spiritual people should be content with poverty. This is complete nonsense, and it's kept millions of good people trapped in lack and struggle. First, the actual quote is, "The love of money is the root of all evil, not money itself." Money is neutral. It's a tool, an energy, a means of exchange. It amplifies whatever is already in a person. If someone is greedy and selfish, money will amplify that. If someone is generous and kind, money will amplify that. Second, there is nothing spiritual about poverty. Poverty doesn't make you more virtuous, more enlightened, or more beloved by any divine force. In fact, when you're trapped in poverty, most of your energy goes toward survival, leaving little for creative expression, service, or spiritual growth. True prosperity allows you to be of greater service. When your own needs are abundantly met, you have resources to help others. You can fund causes you believe in, support people you love, create opportunities for those who need them. You can focus your energy on making a positive difference rather than just scraping by. The goal isn't to pursue wealth for ego gratification, showing off, or proving your worth. The goal is to claim your natural birthright of abundance so you can live fully, express creatively, serve powerfully, and experience the richness of life in all its dimensions. God, the universe, source, whatever term resonates with you, did not create this abundant world only to want you to struggle through it in poverty. You're meant to thrive, not just survive. Accepting and claiming prosperity is actually honoring the abundant nature of creation. Now, let's talk about work, because your relationship with work is central to your prosperity. Many people see work as a necessary evil, something to be endured in exchange for a paycheck. They hate Mondays, live for Fridays, and count down the days until retirement. This mentality guarantees a life of struggle and lack. When you resent your work, you're spending the majority of your waking hours in a negative vibration. That negative vibration permeates everything else in your life. You can't compartmentalize your consciousness. How you do anything is how you do everything. If you're dragging yourself through work you hate, you're teaching yourself that life is hard, unsatisfying, and something to be endured. And that lesson will manifest in all areas of your life. The prosperity approach to work is completely different. First, if you're currently in work that you genuinely hate, begin looking for a transition. This doesn't mean quit tomorrow without a plan. It means start exploring what kind of work would fulfill you, what skills you'd need to develop, what steps you'd need to take. Begin moving in that direction while maintaining your current income. The universe respects practical action combined with faith. Second, while you're in your current situation, find aspects of it to appreciate. There's something valuable in every job, even jobs you don't love. Maybe it's teaching you patience, discipline, or how to deal with difficult people. Maybe it's providing income while you develop your next move. Find the value, appreciate it, and your experience will shift. Third, do excellent work regardless of your position or pay. Excellence is a habit, not a destination. When you develop the habit of excellence, it follows you wherever you go. There's a powerful principle at play here. When you do your current work with excellence and good attitude, even if it's not your dream job, you're preparing yourself for better opportunities. Employers, clients, and opportunities are attracted to people who demonstrate quality, reliability, and positive energy. If you're doing mediocre work and complaining constantly, why would anyone want to promote you or offer you something better? But when you show up fully, do your best, maintain a positive attitude, and look for ways to add value, you become magnetic. Opportunities seek you out. The right people notice you. Doors open that you didn't even know existed. This isn't about being a doormat or accepting poor treatment. It's about maintaining your personal excellence regardless of external circumstances. Your excellence isn't for your employer. It's for you. It's the standard you set for yourself, and that standard determines your trajectory. Consider also the concept of service in relation to prosperity. The most prosperous people are those who serve the most people in the most valuable ways. This is a key insight. Prosperity isn't about taking or manipulating or scheming. It's about giving value, solving problems, meeting needs, making people's lives better in some way. When you shift your focus from, "What can I get?" to, "What can I give?" everything changes. When you ask yourself, "How can I be of greater service? How can I add more value? How can I solve bigger problems for more people?" you automatically put yourself on the path to greater prosperity. Because value given is value received. Serve one person excellently, and you'll be compensated at one level. Serve thousands or millions of people, and you'll be compensated at a much higher level. This is why entrepreneurs and business owners often earn more than employees. They're taking on the challenge of serving larger numbers of people. But you don't have to own a business to embrace the service mentality. Wherever you are, whatever your role, you can ask yourself how you can serve better. How can you make your customers' experience better? How can you make your boss's job easier? How can you help your colleagues succeed? How can you improve the product or service your company offers? When you approach your work from this angle, you stop being a victim and become a creator. You stop waiting for someone to give you more and start earning more through the value you provide. And here's what happens. As you increase your value, as you become someone who consistently makes things better, your compensation increases. Maybe not immediately in your current position, but it will increase. Either you'll be promoted, or you'll be recruited by someone else, or you'll develop skills and reputation that allow you to strike out on your own. Value always finds its reward. Let's explore the relationship between prosperity and self-worth, because this is where many people are secretly sabotaging themselves. Deep down, often below conscious awareness, many people don't believe they deserve prosperity. They have unconscious beliefs like, "I'm not smart enough, talented enough, worthy enough," or "People like me don't get to have that," or "I don't deserve good things." These beliefs usually form in childhood based on messages received from parents, teachers, peers, or society. Maybe you were told you'd never amount to much. Maybe your family struggled financially and you internalized the belief that struggle is just your lot in life. Maybe you made mistakes in the past and you're still punishing yourself. Whatever the source, these unconscious beliefs of unworthiness create an invisible ceiling on your prosperity. You might consciously want success, but subconsciously you're ensuring you don't achieve it because deep down you don't believe you deserve it. How do you know if you have worthiness issues? Look at your patterns. Do you self-sabotage just when things start going well? Do you attract situations where you're underpaid or undervalued? Do you have trouble accepting compliments or acknowledging your accomplishments? Do you feel guilty when good things happen to you? Do you believe you have to struggle and sacrifice to earn anything good? These are all signs of worthiness blocks. The good news is, you can heal this. You can reprogram your sense of worthiness. Start by recognizing that your worth isn't based on your accomplishments, your bank account, your appearance, or what anyone else thinks of you. Your worth is inherent. You are valuable simply because you exist. You are a unique expression of life itself, and there will never be another you. That alone makes you infinitely valuable. Practice affirming your worthiness. Say to yourself, "I am worthy of prosperity. I am worthy of success. I am worthy of love, happiness, and abundance in all forms. I deserve good things. I deserve to thrive." At first, these statements might feel false or uncomfortable. That's normal. Your old beliefs will resist being replaced. But persist. Say these affirmations daily, multiple times a day. Say them with feeling. Say them until they start to feel true. Over time, your subconscious will accept these new beliefs, and when it does, your external reality will transform to match. Remember, your outer world is always reflecting your inner world. Change your inner sense of worthiness, and your outer circumstances must change. Another critical aspect of prosperity consciousness is the elimination of resentment and bitterness. These emotions are poison to prosperity. When you resent others who have what you want, you're sending a message to the universe that prosperity is wrong, bad, or unfair. You're vibrating in opposition to the very thing you desire. When you feel bitter about your circumstances, you're anchoring yourself in victim consciousness, which is the opposite of creator consciousness. You must release these toxic emotions if you want to prosper. This doesn't mean pretending everything is fine when you've been genuinely wronged. It means processing your emotions, learning whatever lessons are there to learn, and then letting go. Forgiveness, both of others and yourself, is essential to prosperity. Understand that holding onto resentment doesn't hurt the people you resent. It only hurts you. It's like drinking poison and expecting someone else to die. Every moment you spend in resentment is a moment you're not available for opportunity, creativity, joy, or growth. Every bitter thought is blocking your good. The people you resent have moved on. They're living their lives. Meanwhile, you're trapped in the past, replaying old hurts, keeping yourself small and stuck. Is that what you want? Of course not. So make the decision to release it. This might take time and practice. You might need to forgive the same person or situation many times before it sticks. That's okay. Keep at it. Use forgiveness affirmations. Write letters you never send, expressing your feelings and then declaring your release. Work with a therapist or counselor if needed. Do whatever it takes to free yourself from the prison of resentment, because your prosperity depends on it. In the same way, you must release envy and jealousy. When you see others succeeding, prospering, or achieving, celebrate them. Genuinely feel happy for their success. Why? Because their success proves that success is possible. Their prosperity proves that prosperity is available. If they can achieve it, so can you. When you celebrate others' wins, you're aligning yourself with the energy of winning. You're declaring to the universe that you believe in abundance, that there's enough for everyone, that one person's success doesn't diminish your own possibilities. But when you feel envious or jealous, you're operating from scarcity consciousness. You're believing that there's only so much good to go around and someone else getting their share means less for you. This belief will ensure you remain in lack. The truth is, the universe is infinite in its abundance. There's more than enough success, wealth, opportunity, love, and happiness for every single person on this planet. Someone else's prosperity doesn't limit yours. In fact, their success creates more prosperity energy in the collective field, which you can tap into. Make it a practice to bless others' success. When you hear about someone getting a promotion, making a big sale, buying a new home, or achieving a goal, silently or out loud say, "That's wonderful, and I'm next." This simple practice shifts your energy from separation to alignment, from competition to collaboration with the universe. You're acknowledging that good things are happening and you're opening yourself to receive your own good. Try it. You'll be amazed at how this simple shift in attitude transforms your experience. Let's discuss the importance of decision in creating prosperity. Prosperity requires decision. You must decide that you will be prosperous. Not wish, not hope, not try. Decide. There's tremendous power in decision. When you truly decide something, really commit to it at the deepest level, forces begin organizing themselves to support your decision. Opportunities appear, resources show up, the right people cross your path, ideas come to you. But when you're wishy-washy, kind of wanting prosperity but not really committing to it, nothing much happens. The universe responds to clarity and commitment. It responds to decision backed by faith and action. So right now, make a decision. Decide that you are done with struggle, lack, and limitation. Decide that you are claiming your birthright of prosperity. Decide that you will do whatever it takes, develop whatever you need to develop, become whoever you need to become to live a prosperous life. This isn't arrogance. This is alignment with truth. You were designed for abundance. Every natural system demonstrates abundance. Look at nature. Millions of seeds from one plant, countless stars in the sky, endless waves in the ocean. Abundance is the natural order of things. Lack and limitation are aberrations, distortions created by faulty thinking. When you decide to align yourself with the abundant nature of reality, you step into the flow of prosperity that has always been there waiting for you. After decision comes action. Prosperity consciousness without action is like a car without fuel. It might look good, but it's not going anywhere. You must take action, consistent action in the direction of your goals. Now, this doesn't mean forcing or straining or wearing yourself out with frantic busyness. It means taking inspired action, action that feels aligned and right, action that moves you forward. Every day, do something that advances your prosperity. This could be learning a new skill, making a connection, improving your product or service, marketing yourself, saving money, investing, solving a problem, or serving someone. Small actions compound over time into massive results. Don't wait until you feel completely ready or until conditions are perfect. They never will be. Start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. Action creates momentum, and momentum creates results. Also, be willing to step out of your comfort zone. All growth happens outside the comfort zone. If you keep doing what you've always done, you'll keep getting what you've always gotten. New results require new actions, new behaviors, new ways of being. This might feel uncomfortable at first. You might experience fear, doubt, or resistance. That's normal. Feel it and do it anyway. Every time you push through fear and take action anyway, you expand your capacity. You prove to yourself that you're capable of more than you thought. You build confidence and courage, which are essential qualities for prosperity. The comfort zone is seductive. It feels safe. But it's actually the most dangerous place to be because staying there ensures you never reach your potential. Embrace discomfort as a sign that you're growing. Welcome it, even celebrate it, because it means you're on the path to something greater. Let's talk about persistence, because the path to prosperity is rarely a straight line. You will face obstacles, setbacks, and challenges. There will be times when it seems like nothing is working, when doubt creeps in, when you're tempted to give up. This is where most people quit, right before their breakthrough would have come. Prosperity belongs to those who persist, who keep going when others stop, who maintain their vision and faith even when circumstances seem to contradict them. Every successful person has a story of persistence, of continuing despite failures, rejections, and difficulties. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't usually isn't talent or intelligence. It's persistence. When you face a setback, don't interpret it as evidence that prosperity isn't meant for you. Interpret it as feedback, as information about what needs to adjust. Maybe your approach needs refinement. Maybe you need to develop a new skill. Maybe the timing wasn't right and you need to try again later. Maybe you need to pivot in a slightly different direction. Setbacks are course corrections, not stop signs. Learn from them, adjust, and keep moving forward. Remember, failure is not falling down. Failure is staying down. As long as you keep getting up, keep learning, keep adjusting, keep moving forward, you haven't failed. You're just in the process of succeeding. Develop what might be called flexible persistence. This means staying committed to your goal while being flexible about the path. Sometimes people get so attached to one specific way of achieving their goal that they miss better opportunities right in front of them. Stay focused on what you want to create but remain open about how it comes to you. The universe often has plans better than anything you could have imagined. It might bring your prosperity through unexpected channels, surprising opportunities, or unconventional paths. If you're too rigid about how things should happen, you might miss these gifts. Trust the process. Trust that everything is working together for your highest good. Trust that if one door closes, a better one will open. This trust allows you to persist with peace rather than anxiety, with confidence rather than desperation. Let me share another story that illustrates these principles beautifully. There was a woman who dreamed of becoming a writer, but for years she told herself it was impractical, that she'd never make money, that she should stick with her secure but unfulfilling job. She had all the usual fears and limiting beliefs, but something inside her wouldn't let the dream die. Finally, in her late 30s, she made a decision. She decided she would become a professional writer, no matter what. She started writing every morning before work. She studied the craft. She joined writing groups. She submitted her work to publications and collected rejection after rejection. Her friends and family thought she was wasting her time. She had moments of doubt, but she persisted. She kept writing, kept learning, kept submitting. She celebrated small wins, like her first published piece in a small magazine that paid almost nothing. She used those small wins to build faith. She visualized her success. She affirmed her identity as a writer even before the external evidence supported it. She gave value wherever she could, writing for free sometimes to build her portfolio and skills. She invested in herself, taking courses and attending conferences even when money was tight. And gradually, things began to shift. She got more acceptances. She built a reputation. She attracted an agent. She sold her first book. That book became successful, leading to more opportunities. Within 5 years of her decision, she was earning more from her writing than she ever had at her old job. She was living her dream. Not because she was lucky or specially gifted, but because she decided, believed, persisted, and took consistent action aligned with her vision. Now, in this second part of our exploration, we must dive even deeper into the practical mechanics of building and maintaining prosperity consciousness while addressing the subtle obstacles that often derail people even when they understand these principles intellectually. One of the most insidious prosperity blocks is the phenomenon of unconscious sabotage through negative associations with wealth and success. Many people carry programming from childhood, religious teachings, cultural messages, or family conditioning that creates deep conflict about becoming prosperous. Perhaps you were raised in an environment where wealthy people were portrayed as corrupt, greedy, or immoral. Perhaps you absorbed the belief that you must choose between being spiritual and being wealthy, between being a good person and being successful. Perhaps in your family system, struggle and hardship were badges of honor, proof of virtue and character. These associations create internal conflict. Part of you wants prosperity, but another part fears it, rejects it, or believes it would make you a bad person. This internal conflict manifests in fascinating ways. You might work hard toward a goal and then inexplicably sabotage yourself just before achieving it. You might create success and then unconsciously create circumstances that destroy it. You might be uncomfortable with receiving money, apologizing for your prices, or feeling guilty when you're paid well. You might avoid opportunities that would elevate you financially or professionally because some part of you is afraid of becoming one of those people you were taught to distrust. Until you identify and resolve these unconscious conflicts, your prosperity will always be limited by your internal glass ceiling. How do you resolve these conflicts? First, by bringing them into conscious awareness. Examine your beliefs about wealthy people, about success, about prosperity. Where did these beliefs come from? Are they actually true? Do you personally know wealthy people who are kind, generous, and ethical? Of course you do. Wealth doesn't make people good or bad. It simply amplifies who they already are. Recognize that you can be both prosperous and deeply ethical. You can be wealthy and spiritual. You can be successful and kind. These things are not mutually exclusive. In fact, prosperity gives you greater capacity to live your values, support causes you believe in, and make a positive difference. Second, consciously choose new associations with wealth. Decide what kind of prosperous person you want to be. How will you use your resources? What values will guide your decisions? What kind of impact will you make? When you create a clear vision of conscious, ethical prosperity, you give your subconscious permission to pursue it without guilt or conflict. You might even create a personal prosperity mission statement, declaring how you will earn, use, and share your wealth in alignment with your highest values. This internal alignment is crucial. You cannot sustain prosperity while feeling guilty or conflicted about it. You must make peace with success, embrace it as your right and responsibility, and commit to using it wisely. Another subtle obstacle that prevents many people from experiencing sustained prosperity is what we might call the threshold of tolerance for good. This might sound strange, but many people have an unconscious limit on how much success, happiness, wealth, or love they can tolerate before they start feeling uncomfortable and create problems. This threshold was usually set early in life based on what you observed and experienced. If you grew up in an environment where things were consistently difficult, where calm was always followed by crisis, where good news was always tempered with bad, you may have developed a nervous system that only feels normal in struggle. Peace and prosperity actually feel foreign, uncomfortable, even threatening to your sense of identity. This manifests in predictable patterns. Things start going really well, you're making more money than ever, relationships are flowing smoothly, health is good, and then suddenly you create drama, make a terrible decision, pick a fight with someone important, sabotage a key opportunity, or develop a mysterious illness. Your nervous system, uncomfortable with sustained good, creates a crisis to return you to the familiar territory of struggle. This happens completely unconsciously. You're not deliberately trying to mess things up. Your system is simply returning to its comfort zone, which ironically is discomfort. Breaking through this threshold requires conscious reprogramming. You must teach your nervous system that safety, peace, and prosperity are the new normal. This takes time and patience. Start by noticing when good things happen and you feel anxious, guilty, or waiting for the other shoe to drop. Simply notice this pattern without judgment. Then consciously tell yourself, I am safe in prosperity. I can handle good things. I deserve sustained success and happiness. Breathe deeply, allowing your body to relax into the experience of goodness. Do this repeatedly. Over time, You expand your capacity to receive and maintain prosperity without unconsciously destroying it. Another practice that helps is what might be called prosperity rehearsal. Spend time imagining yourself living in sustained prosperity, not just achieving a goal but maintaining that achievement, growing it, enjoying it over years and decades. See yourself handling success with grace, making wise decisions, being generous and grounded, feeling peaceful and grateful. The more you rehearse this internally, the more your nervous system accepts it as possible and safe. You're literally rewiring your brain to accommodate a new level of sustained abundance. Let's address the critical importance of environment in maintaining prosperity consciousness. You've probably heard the saying that you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This is profoundly true. Human beings are social creatures with mirror neurons that cause us to unconsciously adopt the attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors of those around us. If you're constantly surrounded by people who complain about money, criticize success, embrace victim mentality, and talk about how hard everything is, their consciousness will drag yours down no matter how committed you are to prosperity thinking. Their negativity will seep into your awareness, planting seeds of doubt, fear, and limitation. This doesn't mean you abandon everyone in your life who isn't perfectly positive or successful. But it does mean you need to be very intentional about who you allow to influence your thinking. Limit your exposure to negative, complaining, victim-oriented people. Increase your exposure to positive, growth-oriented, successful people. This might mean making new friends, joining different groups, attending events where prosperous, like-minded people gather. It might mean getting a mentor or coach who embodies what you want to create. It might mean consuming different media, reading different books, listening to different podcasts. Your environment is either supporting your prosperity consciousness or undermining it. There's no neutral ground. Also, be very careful about what you allow into your consciousness through media and entertainment. If you spend hours every day consuming news that focuses on disaster, conflict, and crisis, if you watch shows that portray struggle and dysfunction as normal, if you listen to music that reinforces negative themes, this content is programming your subconscious mind. You might think you're just being informed or entertained, but your subconscious doesn't distinguish between information and instruction. It absorbs everything and uses it to create your reality. This doesn't mean you need to be ignorant of world events or only consume Pollyanna content. It means being selective and balanced, making sure you're feeding your mind more prosperity-oriented, solution-focused, inspiring content than problem-focused, fear-based content. Create what might be called a prosperity bubble around yourself. Fill your environment with visual reminders of your goals and dreams. Use affirmations, vision boards, inspirational quotes, images of the life you're creating. Listen to audio programs that reinforce prosperity consciousness. Read books and articles about success principles and inspiring stories. Surround yourself with beauty, order, and quality to the extent possible. Your external environment affects your internal state, and your internal state creates your external reality. It's a feedback loop. When you intentionally create an environment that reflects and reinforces prosperity, you accelerate your results exponentially. Now let's explore the relationship between prosperity and service at a deeper level, because this is where many people miss the full picture. True prosperity isn't just about receiving abundance. It's about becoming a conduit through which abundance flows to benefit many. The wealthiest, most fulfilled people aren't those who accumulate the most, but those who circulate the most. They understand that money is energy, and like all energy, it must flow. When you receive money and immediately hoard it, grip it tightly, refuse to let it circulate, you stop the flow. When you receive money and use it wisely, investing some, spending some, saving some, and giving some, you keep the energy moving, and more flows to you. Think of yourself not as a reservoir trying to hold as much as possible, but as a river through which resources flow. Your job isn't to dam up the river but to widen your channel so more can flow through. How do you widen your channel? By increasing your capacity to serve, to add value, to solve problems, to make a difference. The person who can positively impact 10 people has a narrow channel. The person who can impact 10,000 people has a wider channel. The person who can impact millions has a massive channel. Prosperity follows service. The greater your capacity to serve, the greater your capacity to receive. This principle applies regardless of your current position or profession. Maybe you're an employee in a large company. How can you increase your service? By becoming more skilled, more reliable, more innovative, more valuable to your employer and customers. By solving problems others don't see or don't want to tackle. By making everyone around you better through your presence and contribution. As your service increases, so will your compensation, either in your current position or through opportunities that arise because of your reputation. Maybe you're an entrepreneur or business owner. How can you increase your service? By improving your product or service, reaching more customers, creating more value, building systems that serve people even when you're not personally involved. Every increase in genuine value creation leads to an increase in prosperity. But here's what's essential to understand. The service must be genuine. You can't fake this. You can't pretend to care about serving people while really just trying to manipulate them into giving you money. People sense inauthenticity, and it repels them. Your service must come from a genuine desire to help, to contribute, to make things better. When your service is authentic, when you truly care about the people you serve, something magical happens. They feel it, they respond to it, they become loyal supporters and advocates. They tell others about you. They come back again and again. Your business or career flourishes not through manipulation or aggressive marketing, but through the magnetic power of genuine value and authentic care. This also means you must find work or create a business that you can authentically pour yourself into. If you fundamentally don't believe in what you're doing, if you don't think it's valuable or helpful, if you're just going through motions to make money, you will struggle. You can't fake passion and purpose. They either exist or they don't. If you're currently in work that feels meaningless or contrary to your values, begin planning your transition to something you can genuinely believe in. Life is too short to spend your days doing work that feels hollow or wrong. And practically speaking, you'll never achieve significant prosperity doing something you can't wholeheartedly commit to. Find your authentic service, the contribution only you can make in your unique way, and prosperity will follow naturally. Let's discuss the concept of prosperity timing, because understanding this can save you from unnecessary frustration and doubt. There's often a gap between when you plant prosperity consciousness and when you harvest results. This gap varies depending on how deeply rooted your old programming is, how consistent you are with new practices, how big the change you're creating is, and numerous other factors. Some people see results quickly, within weeks or months. For others, it might take years of consistent practice before significant external changes appear. This doesn't mean the principles aren't working. It means you're in the gestation period, the time when seeds are germinating beneath the surface before the sprout breaks through the soil. Many people give up during this gap. They practice prosperity consciousness for a while, don't see immediate results, conclude it doesn't work, and return to old patterns. This is like planting a seed, not seeing a plant the next day, digging up the seed, and declaring that planting doesn't work. The seed needs time in darkness and soil to germinate. Your prosperity consciousness needs time to work its way from your inner world to your outer world. During this gap, you must maintain faith. You must continue your practices even when you don't see evidence yet. You must act as if your prosperity is already assured, even while circumstances still look the same. This is where most people fail. They can maintain positive thinking when things are going well, but when challenges arise or results don't come quickly, they collapse back into doubt and fear. True prosperity consciousness is maintaining your vision, faith, and positive expectation, especially when external circumstances don't yet reflect it. This is the test. This is where you prove whether you truly believe in these principles or whether you were just trying them on superficially. The universe, or life, or however you conceive of the creative power, is always testing your faith. It's asking, do you really believe this? Are you really committed? Or were you just hoping for a quick fix? When you pass the test by maintaining your consciousness regardless of appearances, that's when breakthrough typically occurs. Think of it like boiling water. Water doesn't gradually get warmer and more boiling. It heats degree by degree with no apparent change, and then suddenly at a specific temperature, it transforms into steam. Your prosperity journey often works the same way. You're practicing principles, shifting consciousness, taking action, and seeing no dramatic results. Then suddenly, everything shifts. Opportunities cascade, money flows in, doors open, success manifests. What happened? Did the principles suddenly start working? No, they were working all along. You finally reached the tipping point where your internal transformation was complete enough to manifest externally. The key is continuing through the heating phase, the invisible preparation time, trusting that the transformation is occurring even before you see evidence. Let's talk about the prosperity practice of acting as if. This is a powerful but often misunderstood technique. Acting as if means behaving, thinking, feeling, and carrying yourself as the person you're becoming, the prosperous version of yourself, even before the external evidence exists. It means dressing well even if your bank account is low, because prosperous people take care of their appearance. It means speaking confidently about your goals and dreams, because prosperous people believe in themselves. It means spending time on personal development and growth, because prosperous people invest in themselves. It means being generous even in small ways, because prosperous people are generous. It means walking into rooms with positive energy and expectation, because prosperous people expect good things. Now, here's what acting as if is not. It's not being fake or pretending to be something you're not. It's not lying about your circumstances or living beyond your means to impress others. It's not spending money you don't have to create an illusion of wealth. That's not acting as if. That's delusion, and it leads to more problems. True acting as if is internal. It's about your mindset, your energy, your self-concept. It's about making decisions from prosperity consciousness rather than poverty consciousness. For example, poverty consciousness says, I can't afford that book or course that would help me grow. Prosperity consciousness says, I can't afford not to invest in myself. Poverty consciousness says, I'd better hold on to every penny. Prosperity consciousness says, I'll save wisely and also circulate money confidently. Acting as if also means making decisions your future prosperous self would make. When faced with choices, ask yourself, what would I do if I were already living my prosperous life? How would that version of me handle this situation? Then do that. Maybe it means saying no to opportunities that don't align with your vision, even if they'd bring quick money, because your prosperous self knows that everything is a trade-off, and saying yes to the wrong things means saying no to the right things. Maybe it means investing time and energy in building something significant rather than just trading hours for dollars. Maybe it means surrounding yourself with quality, even if it costs a bit more, because your prosperous self values quality. These aligned decisions compound over time to create the reality you're claiming. Let's address money specifically, since for most people, prosperity and money are closely linked, though as we've discussed, true prosperity encompasses much more than money alone. Your relationship with money is probably one of the most emotionally charged relationships you have. Money represents different things to different people: security, freedom, power, worth, love, evil, corruption, salvation. Whatever money means to you, whatever emotions it triggers in you, that's your money consciousness, and it determines your financial reality. Many people have deeply conflicted relationships with money. They want it desperately but also judge themselves or others for wanting it. They need it but resent needing it. They earn it but feel guilty keeping it. This conflict creates chaos in their financial lives. To create lasting financial prosperity, you must make peace with money. You must recognize it for what it is: a neutral tool, a form of energy, a means of exchange that allows you to get what you need and want without bartering. Money isn't good or evil. It's neutral. What you do with it, the intentions behind how you earn and spend it, that's where morality enters the picture, not in money itself. Develop a healthy, respectful, appreciative relationship with money. Thank money when it comes to you. Bless it when it leaves you. Handle it respectfully, whether it's cash or numbers on a screen. Keep your financial affairs organized and clean. Know what you have, what you owe, where it goes. This might sound silly, but how you treat money indicates how you feel about it, and how you feel about it determines whether it flows easily to you or not. If you stuff bills in drawers unopened, if you have no idea where your money goes, if you're chaotic and avoidant about finances, you're sending a message that money isn't important or welcome. Money responds to attention and appreciation, just like anything else in your life. Also, educate yourself about money. Learn how it works, how to manage it, how to invest it, how to make it grow. Financial literacy is a crucial component of prosperity. You don't need to become an expert in finance, but you do need basic understanding of budgeting, saving, investing, debt, taxes, and wealth building. There are countless free resources available: books, courses, podcasts, articles. Commit to improving your financial intelligence. The more you understand money, the more comfortable you become with it, and the more easily you attract and keep it. Ignorance about money keeps people trapped in struggle. Knowledge about money is empowering and liberating. Let me share one more transformative story before we move into our final section. There was a man who'd struggled financially his entire adult life. He worked hard, sometimes holding 2 or 3 jobs, but always seemed to be behind, always juggling bills, never getting ahead. He felt like a failure, ashamed of his financial situation, convinced that he was just bad with money and always would be. Then he had a conversation with an older colleague who had built significant wealth despite starting with nothing. This colleague told him something that changed everything. Your problem isn't that you don't make enough money. Your problem is that you don't respect money. The man was confused. What did respecting money mean? The colleague explained that respecting money meant treating it well, paying attention to it, learning about it, making conscious decisions about it rather than being careless or avoidant. The man realized he'd been treating money terribly. He spent unconsciously, had no budget, paid his bills haphazardly, and avoided looking at his full financial picture because it was too painful. So he made a commitment to change his relationship with money. He created a budget for the first time in his life. He started tracking every dollar. He read books about personal finance. He faced his full financial reality, debts and all, and created a plan to address it. Something remarkable happened. Just by organizing his finances and paying attention, without earning more money initially, he found he had more than he thought. He discovered subscriptions he'd forgotten about and canceled them. He found areas where he was wastefully spending and redirected that money to debt and savings. Within 6 months, he'd paid off 2 credit cards. Within a year, he'd built a small emergency fund. His stress decreased dramatically. He felt empowered rather than victimized. And then, as his consciousness shifted, his income began increasing too. He got a raise, then a better job opportunity, then eventually started a small side business that grew into significant income. 5 years after that conversation with his colleague, he was completely out of debt with substantial savings and investments. Not because he made millions, but because he transformed his relationship with money and his beliefs about himself. Now, in this final extensive section, we need to integrate everything we've explored and provide you with a sustainable framework for maintaining prosperity consciousness for the rest of your life, because understanding principles intellectually is one thing, but embodying them consistently over decades through all of life's ups and downs is another thing entirely. One of the most important practices for sustained prosperity consciousness is what we might call daily recalibration. Just as you might calibrate an instrument to ensure accuracy, you must regularly calibrate your consciousness to ensure you're maintaining alignment with prosperity. This is why successful people often have morning routines or daily practices. They're not just being disciplined for discipline's sake. They're consciously resetting their consciousness each day to align with their goals and values. Without this daily recalibration, it's too easy to slip back into old patterns, to be pulled off course by circumstances, other people's energy, or the general negativity that pervades much of our culture. A powerful daily recalibration practice might include these elements. First, before you engage with any external input, before you check your phone or talk to anyone, spend time in gratitude. Identify specific things you're grateful for in this moment. Feel the gratitude physically in your body. Let it fill you up. This immediately puts you in a high vibration state. Second, review your vision. Spend time with your mental picture of your ideal prosperous life. See it, feel it, claim it as yours. This reminds your subconscious what you're creating. Third, set intentions for the day. How do you want to show up? What qualities do you want to embody? What actions will you take? This creates focus and direction. Fourth, use affirmations that resonate with you to reinforce your prosperity consciousness. Fifth, read or listen to something inspiring and growth-oriented. This feeds your mind positive, expansive ideas first thing, setting the tone for your day. This practice doesn't need to take hours. Even 15 to 30 minutes of conscious calibration can dramatically impact your entire day. The key is consistency. Do it every single day without exception. Make it non-negotiable, like brushing your teeth or eating. Your prosperity consciousness requires this kind of daily maintenance, especially in the beginning when new patterns are being established. Over time, prosperity thinking becomes more automatic, but even then, successful people maintain some version of daily practice because they understand that consciousness is everything. Let's talk about the concept of prosperity anchors. These are practices, objects, or experiences that help you quickly shift into prosperity consciousness when you notice you've drifted into lack thinking. Maybe it's a specific piece of music that always uplifts you. Maybe it's a particular memory of a time when things worked out beautifully. Maybe it's a physical object that represents abundance to you. Maybe it's a phrase or affirmation that immediately reorients your thinking. Identify what works for you, what consistently helps you shift state, and use these anchors intentionally throughout your day. When you notice yourself feeling worried, doubtful, or fearful, consciously engage your anchor to shift back to prosperity consciousness. Another essential element of sustained prosperity is the practice of celebration. Celebrate every win. no matter how small. Celebrated progress creates momentum and reinforces to your subconscious that good things are happening, that your efforts are working, that prosperity is flowing. Most people are so focused on what hasn't happened yet that they completely overlook what has happened. They achieve something they wanted and immediately move the goalposts, focusing on the next thing without pausing to acknowledge the win. This trains your subconscious that nothing is ever enough, that achievement doesn't bring satisfaction, and eventually it stops being motivated to create more success. Break this pattern by consciously celebrating. When you achieve a goal, have a small celebration ritual. Share your win with supportive people. Write it in your success journal. Take a moment to really feel the satisfaction of accomplishment. When money comes in, acknowledge it with appreciation, even if it's a small amount. When someone compliments your work, receive it fully rather than deflecting. When something works out well, pause and savor it. This practice might feel unnatural at first if you're used to downplaying or rushing past your wins, but it's incredibly powerful. Celebration amplifies prosperity consciousness and creates positive momentum. Let's address the inevitable challenge of maintaining prosperity consciousness during difficult times, because they will come. Even when you master these principles, life still brings challenges, losses, setbacks, and difficulties. The question isn't whether you'll face hard times, but how you'll move through them. Prosperity consciousness doesn't mean you deny problems or pretend everything is always perfect. It means you maintain your fundamental trust in life's goodness and abundance even while dealing with challenges. It means you see difficulties as temporary and workable rather than permanent and insurmountable. It means you trust that even painful experiences have gifts and are leading you somewhere beneficial. When you face a setback, allow yourself to feel whatever emotions arise. Disappointment, frustration, sadness, these are normal human responses. Don't suppress them, but don't wallow in them either. Feel them, express them in healthy ways, and then consciously shift back to your prosperity consciousness. Ask empowering questions like, what can I learn from this? How can I grow through this? What opportunity might this be creating? What adjustment do I need to make? These questions keep you in creator consciousness rather than victim consciousness. They orient you toward solutions rather than problems. They maintain your power even in difficult circumstances. Remember that some of life's greatest blessings come disguised as problems. The job you lost might have been keeping you from the career you were meant for. The relationship that ended might have been making space for a better one. The business that failed might have been teaching you lessons you needed for your next success. You can't always see this in the moment, but looking back, most people can identify times when what seemed like disaster was actually redirection towards something better. Trust this pattern even when you can't yet see where the current difficulty is leading. Another key to sustained prosperity is the practice of continuous growth and evolution. Prosperity isn't a destination you arrive at and then coast forever. It's a dynamic process of expanding, creating, contributing, and becoming more. The moment you stop growing, you start declining. This doesn't mean you can never rest or need to be frantically busy constantly. It means staying engaged with life, curious, learning, developing new capacities, taking on new challenges. Prosperous people are lifelong learners. They read, take courses, attend seminars, hire coaches, seek new experiences, and continuously expand their skills and perspectives. Make growth a lifestyle. Always have something you're learning, some skill you're developing, some area where you're stretching yourself. This keeps your consciousness expanding rather than contracting. It keeps you vibrant, relevant, and capable of creating value in changing circumstances. The world changes rapidly. Skills that were valuable 10 years ago might be obsolete today. Industries transform. New opportunities emerge while old ones disappear. When you're committed to continuous growth, you adapt easily. You see change as opportunity rather than threat. You remain prosperous regardless of external circumstances because your prosperity comes from who you are and what you can create, not from any particular position or situation. Let's talk about legacy in the highest expression of prosperity consciousness. Ultimately, the most fulfilling prosperity isn't just about what you accumulate during your lifetime, but about what you create that outlasts you, the positive impact you make, the lives you touch, the contribution you leave behind. This legacy mindset shifts prosperity from being purely self-focused to being about service to something larger than yourself. When you're operating from legacy consciousness, your decisions change. You think longer term. You consider the impact of your actions on others. You build things that matter. You use your resources to create positive change. This doesn't mean you ignore your own needs or that you can't enjoy your prosperity. It means your prosperity has meaning beyond personal gratification. Maybe your legacy is raising children who carry your values forward. Maybe it's building a business that provides meaningful work for many people. Maybe it's supporting causes that make the world better. Maybe it's creating art, writing, or innovations that benefit people you'll never meet. Maybe it's mentoring others and helping them achieve their potential. Whatever form it takes, legacy consciousness adds depth and purpose to prosperity. It ensures that your wealth, success, and influence are used not just for personal comfort but for contribution. As we come toward the close of this exploration, I want to emphasize that everything we've discussed isn't theory or wishful thinking. These are principles that have been proven by countless people throughout history. Prosperity consciousness works because it's based on fundamental laws of how consciousness creates reality, how thoughts shape circumstances, how beliefs determine possibilities. You've been using these laws your entire life, whether you knew it or not. The question isn't whether they work. The question is whether you use them consciously and deliberately to create the prosperous life you desire or continue using them unconsciously and creating by default. The choice is yours, and it's a choice you make every single day with every single thought. You're either thinking thoughts that align with prosperity or thoughts that align with lack. You're either taking actions that move you toward your goals or actions that keep you stuck. You're either surrounding yourself with influences that elevate you or influences that drag you down. You're either maintaining faith in possibilities or collapsing into doubt and limitation. There's no neutral ground. You're always choosing, always creating. The only question is whether you're doing it consciously or unconsciously. My encouragement to you is to choose consciously starting right now. Don't wait for circumstances to change before you start thinking prosperously. Don't wait until you have more money before you start feeling abundant. Don't wait until everything is perfect before you start taking action. Start exactly where you are with exactly what you have. Begin practicing gratitude today. Begin visualizing your ideal life today. Begin acting as if today. Begin giving something today. Begin speaking words of prosperity today. Begin surrounding yourself with positive influences today. The perfect time is now, because now is all you ever have. Understand that this is a journey, not a quick fix. You're rewiring decades of conditioning. You're establishing new patterns in consciousness. You're becoming a new version of yourself. This takes time, patience, and persistence. There will be days when you feel like you're making no progress, days when doubt creeps in, days when old patterns resurface. That's normal. That's part of the process. Don't judge yourself. Don't give up. Just gently redirect yourself back to your practices, back to your vision, back to prosperity consciousness. Every time you do this, you're getting stronger. Every time you choose faith over fear, gratitude over complaint, action over paralysis, you're reinforcing new neural pathways. You're becoming the person who lives prosperously, naturally, and effortlessly. Remember that you're not alone in this journey. Every person who has achieved significant prosperity has walked a similar path. They've faced doubt, overcome obstacles, persisted through challenges, and ultimately succeeded because they refused to give up on their vision. You have the same capability they had. You have the same creative power, the same access to universal abundance, the same potential for greatness. The only difference between where you are and where they are is the thoughts you think, the beliefs you hold, and the actions you take. Change these, and you change everything. I also want you to understand that claiming your prosperity isn't selfish. You becoming prosperous doesn't take anything away from anyone else. The universe isn't a fixed pie where someone else getting a slice means less for you. It's an expanding, infinite source of abundance that responds to consciousness. When you prosper, you actually make it easier for others to prosper because you add to the prosperity energy in the collective field. You become an example of what's possible. You have resources to help others. You create opportunities through your success. The most generous thing you can do is become fully prosperous so you have more to give, more to share, more to contribute. So embrace your prosperity not with guilt or apology, but with gratitude and responsibility. Recognize it as your birthright and your opportunity to make a positive difference. Use your resources wisely. Share generously. Live fully. Create beautifully. Serve powerfully. This is what you're here for. Not to struggle through life barely surviving, but to thrive magnificently while helping others do the same. This is prosperity consciousness at its highest expression. Abundance that flows through you to benefit many, wealth that serves life, success that creates more success for everyone it touches. As we conclude this comprehensive exploration of prosperity principles, I want to leave you with one final powerful truth. You are enough. Right now, exactly as you are enough. You don't need to become someone different to deserve prosperity. You don't need to prove your worth. You don't need to earn the right to abundance. It's already yours. You just need to claim it, to align yourself with it, to open yourself to receive it. Every limitation you've experienced has been self-imposed through unconscious beliefs and habitual thinking. The moment you change your mind, you change your world. So make that decision right now. Decide that you are done with lack, struggle, and limitation. Decide that you are claiming your birthright of abundance in all its forms. Decide that you will do whatever it takes to develop and maintain prosperity consciousness. Decide that you will persist until you see results. Decide that you will use your prosperity to create positive impact, and then begin. Take the first step, and then the next, and keep going. Your prosperous life is waiting for you. It's already there in potential, ready to manifest as you align yourself with it. All you need to do is walk the path, practice the principles, maintain your faith, and allow the transformation to unfold. The journey of prosperity is the most rewarding journey you'll ever take because it's not just about external abundance. It's about discovering who you really are, what you're truly capable of, and what you're here to contribute. It's about living fully, freely, abundantly, joyfully. It's about becoming the highest version of yourself. And that journey, with all its challenges and triumphs, with all its growth and transformation, is what makes life magnificent. You deserve this magnificence. You're designed for it. Now go claim it. Before we part ways, if you've found value in this exploration of prosperity consciousness, if these principles have resonated with you and sparked something within you, please like and subscribe to Audiobook Library. Your support helps this channel grow and allows us to bring more transformative content to people who need it. Every like, every subscription, every share helps spread this message of prosperity and possibility to more people who are ready to transform their lives. Together, we're creating a community of conscious creators who understand their power and are using it to build better lives and a better world. So please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support makes a genuine difference and is deeply appreciated. Thank you for investing this time in your prosperity consciousness. Thank you for being open to these principles. Thank you for being willing to grow, change, and claim the abundant life that's your birthright. You are a powerful creator, and your prosperous future is already unfolding. Trust the process, maintain your faith, take consistent action, and watch as your inner transformation creates outer abundance beyond anything you've previously imagined. Your journey to prosperity begins now. Embrace it fully. You've got this.